This is Stan, and today we'll be installing on my new shed new lightning protection system. Now, you may ask what it is and why it's so important to install it on just simple sheds. Well, lightning protection system is a simple electrical device. It's a conduit in in a simple terms, and what it does, it moves any electric charge from the lightning uh, from your structure directly through the conduit into the ground and dissipates it. If you don't do it, then if the lightning hits your structure, it will try to find out. It will basically branch out, and it will try to go to find its way to the ground. And um, because of there is usually different resistance of materials your shed is constructed of. For example, wood is very low, has very low resistance. So if the lightning will go through the wood and beam into the ground, it will dissipate lots of energy in that process, and it may start fire. It just burns your structure in multiple places. It will not burn your roof that is metal, but it will burn any structure, any conduit it would find to the ground. So if you like your structure and you value it, then it's probably better to install such system. Here in Southeast Arizona, we have summer and winter storms, and they can be quite violent. They can have lots of lightning, thunder strikes. You can actually see them here if you look in the valley, um, across the valley, how those storm cells move and how they hit occasionally the ground. Uh, I saw a couple nearby when I built my first shed, and I decided, okay, well, I don't feel secure in my own shed. I know that if it hits anything, hits that shed, I should be fine. The electricity will just go around to the ground, but the shed will be burned, basically, smoldered. So I decided to invest a little bit of money into some metal and install the lightning protection system. So first of them is the lightning rod. Usually you can buy them in metal. Uh, they obviously are from metal, but you can make they make them in from copper and aluminum. And uh, it's the rod is basically detachable. It's in a screw here. It's attached to this mounting to this mount, and the mount is really nice because you can basically change the angle of the rod, so you can put it on different type of surfaces. It can be horizontal, it can be vertical, it can be anything pretty much. So this is the one. Second thing, let me bring it. Second thing is the flexible metal conduit. Usually it's kind of thick. If it's copper, it will be thinner, but that's the aluminum. So it has around half inch or 3/4 inch thickness, and it's braided out of basically different strands of aluminum wire. Now let me show you third element. That is very important. Third element is this uh, rod. It is 6-inch rod, galvanized iron, steel iron a rod that I just you drive it to the ground. Now, how you drive it? You just use the hammer. You can use the sledgehammer. I use the regular hammer, or you can use the hammer drill with a you can buy a specialized um, attachment. I would say maybe not attachment, bit. Sorry, you can buy the bit for it, and you can basically hit it. I noticed that my sledgehammer at a certain point, not the sledgehammer, the mechanized hammer drill has a problem to drive it to the end. It's not just, it doesn't go. So I needed to use basically the regular hammer I use to put the nails in. Uh, but I really recommend buying sledgehammer. That is has a couple of pounds, good pounds of basically weight, so you can with a couple of hits you can actually nail it into the ground. And believe me, it goes into the ground 5 feet. That's quite interesting. The whole rod is 6 feet long, so it's taller than me basically, my height. Um, all right, and so the conduit from the top, it needs to be attached somehow to the wall. I have the attachments. I need to manufacture them actually, and then it goes to the it connects with this clamp. With this clamp, it connects to the conduit, to the rod. All right. So connecting. I'll be now connecting um, the the lightning rod uh, to the top, and then I'll be attaching um, the conduit to the grounding rod. And that's the basically that's it. That's all the components of the lightning protection system. It's very simple. It's basically the idea is just to lead the electricity from the top to the ground. Now, I just wanted to mention a little thing that many people may ask themselves. I'm sorry, the wind is blowing really strong. I will go inside. All right. So I hope here the conditions, recording conditions are better. So as I mentioned, two different metals, right, are in use in lightning protection systems. Now, the people use copper and aluminum. Now, the difference between them, it's pretty much aesthetic and cost, because both of them will work perfectly well. Now, one important thing is don't mix those metals. So if you use copper rod, then you use the copper mount and then copper conduit wire, and then you attach it to the grounding rod. Unfortunately, with the grounding rod, you have just one option probably, but maybe you can buy also the grounding rods that are made of copper. Now, why is it so? Because copper in with connection with other metals, or basically different metals when they touch each other, and the there is a small potential between them, voltage, electric potential. Now, if you have a water, drops of water, and usually during rain you have water, and they are touching on the boundary between those two metals, you can have actually electricity going on between the boundaries, and it's called galvanic corrosion. You can actually cause because that electricity moves the ions from of metal from one side to another, and basically corroding your connection, corroding your those parts, and you don't want that. And that's why if you go with aluminum, and all parts should be aluminum. If you go with copper, you go with copper, and everything should be copper. Now, they oxidize similarly, in a sense that they'll stay forever here on the roof. Aluminum or copper, um, they are pretty much indestructible regarding the weather. Uh, Now, regarding the cost, aluminum is much cheaper. So if you really looking for copper and you have tons of money, then obviously you can spend that money and buy the copper. But I think equally safe and equally good solution is using aluminum, and I'll explain why. So the difference between aluminum and copper, uh, besides the color, is and some other properties, is the resistance. And uh, when you have copper, copper has lesser resistance than aluminum. So with copper, you may have those components smaller. Uh, they they need to be smaller. They can be smaller. I'm sorry. The wire can be smaller diameter. Obviously, you need to check what is the diameter. I cannot give you that right now. The answer, and that's it. Pretty much it. Now with aluminum, you need to go with aluminum has higher resistance, so it is likely get hotter when it's hit by the lightning, and it needs more material to conduit to drive that electricity to the ground. That's why the wire usually is this half-inch at least strand necessary to go. And why is the strand and not just solid wire? Well, uh, one reason is that if you have a thick conduit, it can just break when you bend it. Uh, so this is one reason. And also, when electricity goes, that mostly relies to. I'm not sure if it happens with lightning exactly, but it may. Uh, it tends to go on the outside edge. Everything electrons tend to go on the outside edge of the conduit, not inside of it. So it's better actually have to have something that is basically like tube and not just solid conduit. And obviously you need less material, and therefore you pay less. And aluminum devices, those connect parts, are relatively inexpensive. Now, how much you pay for just this setup? Well, unfortunately, it was not super cheap. Maybe I paid like 50 or maybe up to $100 per shed. Okay, so you need to have a rod, you need to have a mount, you need to have a conduit of proper length, and then you need to pay 20 bucks for this grounding rod that you need to hammer into the ground, and then you need to buy some clamps. So all of that adds to approximately no more than $100. With copper parts, I would probably go mu much higher in price. Even the mount or the rod would be like each 30 bucks. And I didn't even check the grounding rod from copper, how much would cost. So so I went with aluminum, and I don't think anybody else needs to go with copper unless you have a large structure and really you would you would like to make sure that the resistance of the material is just least possible to avoid the lightning to basically go astray into any other direction that it can go, because it tends to basically tries to search for the ground and not always finds the optimal way to the ground to dissipate the charge. All right, so I'll be mounting this everything, and later I will just do this quick show and tell how this whole thing is already placed. Now I can show how it looks like. So we have our rod attached to the mount, and the mount has a special attachment for the conduit. And it goes here. Right now I just screw them to the siding because I don't have those mounts. I would need to produce the mounts from the aluminum tape. I couldn't find it. And so it goes down and it connects to the gal galvanized steel rod, 6-inch long, that is hammered into the earth. And now this shed is properly safeguarded from any lightnings. So you may ask also, is this lightning rod, is it good? It's located not in the middle, in the highest point, but it's located on the side. Well, it's 18-inch rod, and rule of thumb says that 12 inches of rod should be good to cover around 20 inches, 20 feet of the roof. I mean, longer is better. There's better chance that it will hit this and not that corner, for example. Um, but that should be pretty much enough to make sure that any lightning, if it wants to go this way, it will rather prefer to go through this cable to the ground. All right, so this is it. This is how you can mount your own lightning protection system on your shed.